Hi, welcome or welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I sewed Vogue 8379. It's a wrap dress. It has some pleats in the front for the bodice, ties. What else? I sewed view B, so there is a collar and a cuff. So if you sew view A, you don't even have to worry about those two things, so it'll be much easier. But the pattern is already an easy pattern. There's no zippers, buttons, elastic, anything. You just sew it up, and you do have to hem the bottom of the skirt with but I mean, you do have to, like, the instructions say to hand sew it, so you know, you can hand sew it or you can use the machine, whichever one you prefer, but I did hand sew it. One thing that did trip me up was the cuffs, so I'm not sure of the instructions what they were really trying to tell me to do, but I did my own thing, so I think they came out pretty good. You'll see in the video. We'll see, you know, what they look like, the way I did it. And what else? The fabric that I used was from Joann's, so it was a velvet corduroy fabric. I love the color. I love the little designs on the fabric, and I'll definitely be wearing it in the spring or something like that. I don't know if red is really a spring color, but I'll wear it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and be blessed. Okay, so I've already cut out all my pieces, and can you see how beautiful this fabric is? Oh my gosh. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but I can't wait to wear it. And I got the fabric from Joann's. So the first step is to take the front bodice piece, and we're going to make pleats in the front. So going from the small dot to the large dot, I'm going to fold it at the small dot and bring it over to my large one. Not over too far, girl. And then I'm going to pin. And then my small one again. Bring it on over to my large one. And then I'm going to pin. So I'm going to go and do a basting stitch over here, and then I'm also going to just stitch down a little bit, not all the way up, but a little bit right here. Do a basting stitch also to hold those in place and give it a good press. Okay, so now they have been basted together, and then I pressed them real good. So now we're going to move on to the ties. So with right sides together, I'm going to stitch this together. So I want to close this end, but then the other end with the dots. Can you all see my dots? Okay, with the dots, I'm going to leave it open so I can turn it later. I'm going to backstitch, raise my presser foot and turn the fabric and continue to sew. And then when I get to the other end, I'm going to backstitch as well, but leave that part open. Okay, so now that I have it all stitched together, I'm going to take the tie, remain it, and just turn them to the right side. And then I'm going to take my front piece again and match up this piece with my dots right here. So something like that. And then I'm going to go to the machine and stitch, base stitch this down as well for both front pieces. So I've each stitched the back bodice piece, and then I'm going to attach the front bodice pieces at the shoulder seam, finding my notches. Here, come on. So for the part that I E-stitched, the back bodice piece, I'm going to take the long threads and I'm just going to kind of pull it to adjust it a little bit. So I'm going to take it to the machine and stitch across and stitch across and then give it a good press. I thought I had recorded the footage of me doing the initial stitch, but all of these seams require a double stitch, so I'm just doing that now. Okay, so now I have the front and back together, stitched together at the shoulder seams, and I'm going to stitch the front to the back at the side seams. So for the left side, the directions say to pin it all the way. Pin it, stitch it. Pin and stitch all the way. Can you see me now? Can you see me now? So for the right side, I'm going to find my notches and then find the circle at the bottom, but it should be 2 circles, and I'm going to leave that space open to insert the ties. So for the right side, again, I'm going to stitch to here, stop, and then stitch from like down here to here and leave it open. And then on the left side, I'm going to stitch it all the way up, close, all the way up, all the way closed. Okay, so I have everything stitched up on the sides, and then the next step, it says to stay stitch the front from this dot all the way over. I guess that's not the front, huh? To this dot. So stay stitching is just sewing a seam so this part won't stretch while you wear it. So I'm gonna do that. And for the facings, I'm going to take the 2 side faces and my back facing, finding my notches, and just pin those together and stitch. So now it's time to work on the collar piece. So I did interface one collar piece and then the other one is uninterface. So with right sides together, it says to stitch this. Yeah, first get it right, stitch it together, and then leave it the notched end. Don't stitch this part. So. Alrighty, so I will stitch from here to here, and then where I have my notches, this part, leave it open. Okay, so I've stitched the collar piece, and the instructions don't say to trim this off, but I am going to trim it and then kind of snip the triangle, the corners. Okay, let's see, cut a little better than that, my girl. Boom. And then I'll just do the corners like that. All right, left one thing off. Cool. And then I'm going to flip it to the right side. I'm going to give it a good press, and then also the end that I left open, I'm going to baste it close so I can get ready to attach it to the bodice pieces. Okay, so interface piece down with right sides together with my bodice piece. I'm gonna find my notch right there. Right there. Ooh, I'm ashy. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna put some lotion on. Oh man. Okay, so right sides together, matching my notches. Okay, I'm going to take it to the machine and baste along this line, and then the next step will be applying the facing to this piece. Okay, so I basted my collar to the bodice piece, and now it's time to take the facings that I sewed earlier, pin the facing over the collar. So basically I'm going to like put it right here and sandwich the collar in between the facing and the bodice. And I still didn't put no lotion on. Ooh. Okay. Let me go. I really don't care. Let me run and get some lotion. Ugh. All right. Now my hands look a little better. Okay. They're too ashy. Okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. So now I'm just going to find my notches. And I'm going to make sure that I put the facing over the tie piece. And then I also want to connect it to my shoulders. Oh, that's a notch. I also want to connect it to my shoulder seam. And the other one. Okay, so I'm going to go and stitch 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so now I've, what I do? I stitched this together, and then I don't know what I did, if I have too much. So to get rid of the excess fabric, I kind of just folded the fabric on itself and stitched it like that, and it'll be on the inside, so nobody will know but you guys and me, right? And then I'm going to trim this and then also understitch the facing piece. Now that I have that trim, I'm going to go and understitch. So I'm going to stitch my seam allowance to my facing piece so that when I turn it over and press, it will help it to stay on the inside of the garment. So I did my understitching for my facing collar piece, and I'm going to set that to the side. I gave it a good press as well. I'll set that to the side and start on the front pieces of the skirt. So I need to find my front first. Okay, here's the front. Okay. And then there is a fold line on the front pieces, but for me I made a notch. So right here on this notch, I'm just going to fold it to the inside. And the instructions say to give it a good press. So press this down along the fold line, and then also baste right up here. So let me make sure I got it together. Okay. So I'm going to baste right here and then press this down in the front towards the inside. Okay, and for the skirt back, we're going to stitch both of those together at the center back, and make sure you don't stitch it where the double notches are, because that's for the front pieces skirts to connect. So the center back will have no notches, and you'll just pin and stitch that up, because I almost messed up. I almost messed up the thing. I was like, oh, that doesn't look right. Okay, so then I'm just going to go and stitch across here. So I have the back sewn together, so I'm going to attach the front pieces of the skirt. And finding my notches. Okay, and now I'm gonna go and stitch for both sides. So I'm going to take my bodice facing piece and put it towards the outside and match just the bodice piece up with this, with the skirt. Then I'm going to find my notches somewhere. Where are you? And then match up first get that out the way. Match up my side seams. Okay, I have this all stitched, and now it says to do a basting stitch around, so I'm going to stitch it with my long stitches. Okay, so now I have the bodice pin stitched to the skirt, and it says to put the bodice facing over the skirt, and then stitch all along the waistline. Do a double stitch as well there. I stitched the bodice and the skirt together, and then it said go ahead and turn it to the inside and tack it down by hand, but really I just stitch right here like in the ditch. You can't really see how the fabric is where I stitch or anything if it wasn't that clean. So to save some time, I just stitch right there on both sides, and yeah, and then to make sure I put the facing piece down too for the shoulder, I stitch right there as well, so my shoulder, so the facing won't come up over. So I'm going to E-stitch the upper edge of each sleeve between the small circles, sorry. And then I'm also going to do a stitch of the underarm edges together on both sleeves. So for the cuff, I'm going to try to do a narrow hem on both ends of the cuff, but it was a little tricky because I was trying to do a narrow hem and the fabric was kind of thin. And so now that I have both sides done, I'm just going to go to the machine and stitch. Now that I have both of the ends hemmed, I'm going to just fold it along the fold line with wrong sides together. Uh-oh. Girl. And then I'm going to just base across here. So I'm still going to try to match up everything. So I'm going to base along this end, and then I'm going to cross them over and just put a little basting stitch right there to hold it in place so I can attach it to the sleeve. Okay, so I have my sleeve opening and then the sleeve cuff. So let me find my notch. I don't know what's going on right now. Okay. So match my notch up. So once I have my notches matched, I'm just going to go around and pin. So now I'm going to attach the sleeve to the dress, finding that circle that I made at the top of my sleeve and attaching it to my shoulder seam. And then I'm going to find the other one and pin there. And then you also have to ease this one in. You all know this is not my preferred method to attach the sleeve, but I was going to roll with it. So, but it didn't come out too bad. So I can't be mad. And I'm just spreading the love around. With all this red, it just looks like a sea of love. Oh. So I got my sleeve on here, and then I did go ahead and instead of leaving it open, I just stitched them down together, so that looks better, more neater than the way I had it open like that. So okay, do that, and then the last thing to do is to hem it. So the fold line that I created earlier, the instructions say to turn it back onto the fabric at the fold line. I'm gonna stitch. Let's see what stitch, but I want to pin first. The pin right here. And then I'm going to mark 1 1/4 from the bottom. So this right here will be my stitching line. So I will go to the machine and stitch across here. Okay, so I stitched the 1 1/4 up, and then the instructions say to trim it. So not real sure how to trim it. The diagram was a little funny, but I trimmed it the best way I could. And then I'm just gonna turn it to the inside. And then I'll point my edges. Oh, baby, don't go through it now. Okay. So they're sharp, and then I will just go and hem. And stay tuned to see what I do with this leopard fabric. Thanks for watching, guys.